People are coming on. I just want to mention that Nora spotted that someone was attempting to impersonate the co-op on Facebook. So if anyone who has a Facebook account wouldn't mind reporting that account, it's a violation of our trademark, and whoever is doing it is not authorized to make any posts on behalf of RChain Cooperative. So it's not our account, but someone has made an account with the same name, just different capitalization. So if you have a Facebook account, if you wouldn't mind speaking to Nora or Daryl about which account to report and reporting it, that'd be great. With that, let me pass it over to Rao. To Rao to give a tech update. Rao, are you speaking? I can't hear you.
Okay, I was sorry about that. I was muted. Good afternoon, good evening, everyone. This is Community Update 111. I put a link to the update in the chat. Basically, what's different now? The mainnet has been running, I think, for about 3 weeks now, a little over 3 weeks. And the mainnet is running release 0922. There is a new release 0923, and I'll speak to what is in the 0923. We're running testnet with 0923, and we don't necessarily anticipate immediately updating mainnet with 0923. Because going forward, the idea is that we will do releases as we can, but we'll give sufficient time for the community to check it out, for the dApp developers, for the validators, to identify any problems they see with the release before we update the mainnet with that. So the pace of releases may be a little bit more frequent than actual updates that get into the mainnet. So that's just to make sure that when we go to mainnet, everybody has had an opportunity to react to and make any changes they need to in their code or point out any problems. So that's the thought process there. And we have a tech governance meeting on Thursdays. What used to be the R-Node testing sessions, we have converted that into a tech governance meeting at this point in time. That's at 10 a.m. Eastern on Thursdays and 7 a.m. Pacific. If you have anything that you want to discuss regarding these release plans and or requirements or prioritization, all that, that's an opportunity. And I strongly encourage anybody that is either a validator or a dApp developer or just an interested community member to participate in that process. Obviously, it's an evolving process, so we want all the help we can get from the community to both put that tech governance process in place and improve that on an ongoing basis. So decisions like this in terms of when we should or should not update mainnet, what kind of steps and time we need to give for the community, what kind of steps should we take, and what time and considerations we need to provide the community before we go for a mainnet update. Those are all things that are being discussed in that session. With that, the main focus for now remains improving or hardening the mainnet, looking for any potential security issues and closing those, improving performance where possible, and making usability improvements to the mainnet. That's kind of what we're focusing on. The changes included in the 0923 are one change is basically there was an issue where you could request a whole bunch of blocks in the current version of 0922 and then potentially harm performance of the network. So that we are closing now by requiring that when you ask for blocks, you have to specify a depth, and then we limit that depth as to how many blocks you can request at a time. Then we updated the tests, unbonding tests, to include validated rewards. We have made the logs more configurable and appendable. That's just a usability improvement. In the area of performance, one of the major things NotZipper worked on improving the message propagation. He looked at an older ticket, 3913, where basically every once in a while we would get this message saying that, can't retrieve the next block or something like that. So he dug into that and basically made quite a few improvements, discarding duplicate messages in the queue and reducing the stream bloat by enabling parallelism, and then looking at the locks and the sequence of when the locks are being applied versus the process of block creation and block propagation. So he improved that. So all in all, I think basically we're seeing, I hope I'm right on this, it's 2.5 to 3 times improvement, I think, performance. Greg, do you remember if that is the correct number, or you want to correct that?
I believe that's correct. I believe
Okay.
that.
Yeah. So that's when we finally switch the mainnet to 0923 or a later version, we should see that performance improvement. Then Thomas Lau took care of some of these issues in how the higher kinded Boolean combinators are being processed. He made the arguments for that have lazy processing. So it's kind of a part bug, part improvement. So that's been changed. And then we, as exchanges are expressing their requirements, we are responding to them and implementing those. So that's kind of where we are. And I already spoke to the importance of the tech governance and request everyone to participate in those. That, by and large, is the tech update. Are there any questions on this or any comments? Okay, with that, I'll pass it back on to Greg.
Okay, thanks very much for the update, Rao. Very nice. Yeah, I'm very impressed by the work that's going on. We're with the both NotZipper and Tomislav have done some really excellent work recently. On the and actually the whole team. Many thanks to Gurinder and Ian for pitching in to get the SSL working. They're really much needed as well. On the business development front, some things will have to be left to Friday, but the Small Business Administration has declared Washington State an area for disaster relief because of COVID-19, and so we are applying for a SBA emergency economic relief loan. We'll be applying for the full amount, which is $2 million, and we will be asking for the 30-year payback period. So that's that process is underway, and I will let people know what's going on with that. More updates on other fundraising efforts will have to be left to Friday. Trying to think if there's anything else we need to talk about here. We are near to done with an endpoint API for CoinMarketCap, so that they can list the rev. So that's ongoing. Lori is managing that process, and we're also working with KuCoin to help support them to be able to at least get the people who are who do have coins in that exchange up and running. The one thing I will point out is that we have requested with KuCoin that Washington State residents are not allowed to trade Rev in response to our recent experiences with the DFI. So, and KuCoin has indicated their willingness to comply with that request. So I just want to give people a heads up. Any questions about what I've said so far? Okay. Trying to think. There's not much else to update folks on. Probably people have seen the reports with respect to the Seattle area and COVID-19. So we're pretty much on lockdown. Everything is, all the restaurants, bars, gyms, all that stuff, they're closed. Schools are closed. There's still some public transport going on. But non-essential travel is asked to be curtailed. I posted in the Discord announcements the administration's planning document that the New York Times was able to leak regarding the COVID-19. So the reality is pretty stark. People should stay safe, stay alert, and don't hesitate to reach out if anyone needs any support in some way, shape, or form. We're a community, we're a network of people, a community of people, as well as a network of programs and machines. Any questions on that?
I guess do we have evidence that we've been affected $2 million worth from the Chinese market due to the virus?
Easily, yeah. Last year we had 19 million. I'm sorry, 5 million from the Chinese market. Yeah.
There was a very interesting idea someone raised in the, I think Patrick, in the member meeting just before this meeting, which I thought was very interesting. I don't know if it's the idea that of us taking pieces that we really want to get done and putting a rev reward on it.
You mean a bounty?
Yeah, a a bounty, and and without putting any monetary value on the rev, we could get away with it. No.
You're talking about the community sponsoring pieces of work with Rev. Is that what you're talking about, Jim?
Well, community sponsoring was another thing that we discussed in the meeting today. But no, this was specifically the co-op putting a reward on different things in Rev and not placing any monetary value on it at all.
It's possible. We haven't had the best luck with that sort of thing, but it might play out differently now. we can look into that for sure.
Thank you.
Sure.
I guess I sort of want to report that Dan Connolly and myself have been trying to get a scam, write a dishonest contract that stole the money of a candy store. You go for free candy, and it steals from your Rev wallet.
Oh, okay.
And
Yeah, we discussed that, Jim, briefly. I was wondering, like, would something like a multi-sig wallet, if people use multi-sig wallet, would that temporarily prevent that issue that you guys are having?
actually, we were not able to steal any Rev unless we passed the deploy ID. So it supports the object capability model. If we give the deploy ID, then yes, they have access to the whole wallet. But if they don't have it and they try to get the deploy ID, they'll get the wrong answer and they won't be able to do anything. They won't be able to impersonate you.
Yeah.
You have to give them the capabilities that they can use.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right. Yeah, that's good confirmation. Very good. All right. Well, unless there's anything else that we need to chat about, I think we should yield back the time, and we'll see you on Friday, if not before. Thanks to one and all.